E diamo il benvenuto ai nostri microfoni a Kayma. Hi Kayma, nice to meet you and welcome.
How's it going? Good to be here.
Good, everything is fine. Hope the same for you, obviously. And the first question is about bad blood. Which
Sure.
is the message you want to spread with your new song?
So I'd say above everything else, I'd like to spread a message of love, and any positive messages would be great. When I wrote this song, I had in mind the idea of fear and how fast it travels when somebody promotes a message that carries fear, hate, and I think it's the same thing. I mean, when you hate somebody, it's usually when you fear something. So definitely positive messages, I'd say, and bad blood is definitely, if you go ahead and check the lyrics, and I made sure this time to put the lyrics engraved within the video so you can see for yourself that it's basically saying cutting the bad blood is being in a place where we first of all we look inside and see who we are as human beings and what frights us, and maybe change that, rewrite that, so we can be more tolerant towards others.
Yeah, you just spoke about the video, which is very suggestive. And what do you think is the function of a music video nowadays?
It's a good question. We live in an audio-visual era. It goes both ways, and I think I am a musician, but I see myself as somebody that wants to tell a story, and that means that any medium that can help me do that will be great. So even using videos for that. So just putting something that I enjoy taking part in it as well. So I wrote the script alongside my friend Roy Reek. And we directed it together and we edited it together. So I'm very much intrigued and fascinated about creating a message all around. So definitely the audio-visual world is a combination that is much more engaging. So definitely, yes to videos as well.
How would you describe instead your musical approach?
How would I describe my musical approach?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 37. That means that I kind of started late doing what I do now, but I'd say I'm much more focused and centered, with good solid ground, knowing that I could go and explore other ways to get excited by, and spread messages that kind of help me. All I'm working about lately is anything that has to do with self-liberation messages. So even Learn to Say No, my former single, was all based on things that kind of helped me overcome doubts and fears that I've had. And so I guess I'm coming from a point where I'm happy to take part and be active and not just let life pass by and kind of stare,
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a good answer for approach?
Yeah, for sure. And instead, in your opinion, which is the secret to reach playlist and algorithm of the online platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music to make it clear?
Are you asking me questions about algorithms? Okay. Also a very fascinating world. At the same time, I must tell you, I'm trying not to put thought into it, especially when I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I used to write music for commercials for many years, and TV shows, and most of the time you had to write different genres and different aspects of approaches to music. And if I had to choose something that would work best with Spotify's algorithm, then I would probably write a little bit more in your face kind of stuff, and use the word baby maybe a little bit more. But I'm just kidding. But honestly, I'm trying to focus on creating good music, something that I believe in, something that is truly part of my state of being, and that's about it. So if the algorithm likes it or not, that's who I am. That's what I have to deliver, and I'm trying to stick to that.
Which is instead the differences between the style you use to create Bad Blood and the previous one, Learn to Say No.
I must say that I didn't understand quite the question. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, sure, don't worry. There are some kind of difference in the style of Learn
Difference in
to
styles.
Say,
Yeah. Okay.
to Learn to Say No and Bad Blood. How do
Mhm.
you choose, and which are these difference of between the two songs,
In
if
terms
there
of,
are any?
well, Learn to Say No was a song that I recorded, I wrote and recorded when I was in a very different state of mind than when I wrote Bad Blood, because I didn't know what's going to happen. There was nothing much going on before that. I had one single before that, and it did kind of good, but it wasn't a hit such as Learn to Say No. And I think there was something very even premature in a way in my vocals. I felt very uncomfortable in the beginning, knowing that I wasn't exactly what I wanted to be. It wasn't all like well produced, like to my standards that I'm trying to focus on. So I guess just letting it go and see how it just like comes back in a form of like millions of people talking about it, and streams everywhere, and interviews, and meeting people like you, and talking about it, asking about lyrics, and hearing that people singing this song in high school as a educational song, that that kind of changed my life in a very interesting way. So I guess from that point, writing Bad Blood was a completely, turn of events, where I was already aware that I'm going to put this song out there, and there's going to be a foundation for it to be heard. So everything was much more tweaked in terms of the production. I think musically it's much more defined and fine-tuned. And even the video clip, I think we kind of went over the top a little bit, and I wanted to have the wall and the idea around it, but that's for a different question. But they're very different in styles, just in the way that my approach was. I knew that this is there's a foundation for it, and therefore I'm going to do this way better than I did before with Learn to Say No.
And which is the role instead of social media to spread your music?
As I told you, I'm very weak with understanding. I do understand the way it works. I refuse to play the game sometimes, just because I think that there's some people that waste more time in social networks and getting their name more spread than their music. And then the focus is about placing a phone in your studio while you're recording, instead of recording and being in the moment where you need to be in. So I'll tell you that I think it's great to have it, because it's an opportunity for people to speak up and be able to communicate with the world without having the media to interfere and to cut sentences, and you can bring whatever you want to bring and whatever you choose to the table. But at the same time, it's a very interesting time where everybody wants to it's all about like me. That everybody is trying to they want to be recognized, and you can see how it goes all the way to youth, and so I don't know where we're heading with it, but I know there are pros and cons, and I'm trying to focus on the pros, and that's pretty much it.
And instead, in 2018, Israel won the Eurovision Song Contest with Toy and Nata. And then it organized it for the year after.
I didn't understand the beginning of what you said.
That in 2018, Israel won the Eurovision
Right.
Song Contest.
Yeah.
What do you think about this contest?
About the contest in general, or about
the Eurovision? about the Eurovision Song
First of all,
Contest.
Neta is great, and the Eurovision, you know, it's I don't know if you know, my dad actually performed there many years ago. Yeah, actually
That's
went.
interesting.
Yeah, and he got to second place. It was pretty impressive. Um, and it was a big thing. Everybody talked about it out here in Israel. Um, it's nice to know that we can step outside of our cynical world and do something so provocative, such as the Eurovision, you know. And it's amusing. It's great entertainment. You know, I don't know if it's a musical contest. I'm not sure, but I know it's, you know, it's a good time. So, you know, I'll give it the thumbs up.
Yeah, and would you like to take part in it? Maybe like your father did?
Well, that's a big question right now, man. Eurovision, well, you know, I don't say no to it. I just think, you know, there's a certain time where, you know, I'd like to establish myself and my creations in a form that is not going to affect what people think about it right off the bat. So tomorrow, I don't think so, but a year from now, you never know.
Instead, what do you know about Italian music?
What do I know about Italian music? Definitely not enough. I'm telling you, like this is something that I'm trying. I'm lately I'm discovering more and more. But you know, I got to, first of all, I grew up on a lot of, you know, Ennio Morricone's stuff in Tarantino's movies, and of course the Sanremo Festival is something that's, you know, a lot of stuff from it is also inherited in my style and my productions. I try to, you know, imitate drum sounds and guitar sounds. You know, there's a lot of great stuff from it, especially from the 60s and 70s. And and just recently I, you know, I was discovered and I actually met a few artists from there, you know, even from, you know, the new generation, such as AK7 and
Yeah,
new upcomers and Ricardo Cocenti.
Cochante, yes.
Cocciante, yeah, I actually, you know, I had the honor to meet him and to greet him. We both performed at the Vatican. So, look, I mean, it's, you know, your country is probably the best country in terms of style. You know, you guys are doing it the best. And in terms of like the country itself, you know, I was in love with Italy way before I started singing there. So, beautiful people, beautiful country, beautiful music. You know, I'm very, very happy that we have a connection. So
And there are some Italian artists that you'd like to collaborate with.
it's a good question. I don't know if I have a name right now, but let me think about it and get back with an answer for you.
Of course, and maybe in a promo tour here in Italy. Do you have already something planned to come over Italy or not?
I can't tell you anything right now. Just tell you that we're working on it very hard, but hopefully very soon.
And we hope there will be very, very soon. So, Kayma, thank you very much for being with us. It's been a real pleasure. And let's go on and spreading your music, not only the social way, but also the live way.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Gabriela.